$100,000 tournament at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas at IPL5. And we're certainly looking forward to the teams that are going to come out of this. If you guys are in North America and looking to get involved as well, so we need some game sounds here, then go ahead and pick up a beta key at go.ign.com/IPL Shootmania and enter into the qualifiers on ign.com/IPL.
Yep, IGN.com/IPL has that big red qualifier button on it. You can find out more about the tournament itself at IGN.com/IPL5. And the AKM. Moving forward now, the castle traditionally is a very defensive-minded map. It looks like Eclypsia thinks that's their better shot at actually trying to take a map back against Colwn. They have confidence in their defense. AKM trying to figure out where he wants to go against Lekayam here.
Okay, well, oh wow, Lekayam comes back really quickly with two shots, and AKM, even though he did land that critical attack round in the last set, unfortunately can't get this one, and goes down very quickly. A 1-0 advantage for Eclypsia.
Okay, Eclypsia Yeepy will be attacking in first once again for their team. And the reason the castle is kind of a more defensive-minded map is obviously attackers have to work their way up from the low ground up to the high ground. That means they're going to be more or less exposed the entire way up. There are a lot of columns, obviously, and other terrain to work around, but Yeepy is going to be choosing an interesting route. It looks like he may have screwed up a little bit and maybe didn't want to fall off of that ledge. There are a lot of interesting routes on this map that run along the tops of all these columns, but we'll see if that actually ends up getting any use, or if these players will just feel more confident peeking around walls and things as they progress forward.
I like Yeepy's attempt to try and run up the right-hand side and then duck down low and jump up for that quick defender that's usually standing on that corner. Unfortunately, his opponent wasn't showing his face, though, but it was still a good attempt. There, though, is a great shot by Yeepy, and he is able to assault the point now with just 2 defenders remaining. He still has 3 armors.
Yeah, I think AKM may have stuck around a little too long. Yeepy is going to get the goal captured, and Eclypsia off to a good start once again. Basically, the first 2 maps, they had these early leads, and Colwn eventually fought back, but in that last map, Archways, they kind of fell flat and only had 1 successful attacking round to Colwn's 2. So right now, Wins is going to be running up for Colwn, trying to make things happen. He needs to get Colwn a point on the board.
Yeah, and obviously not going to risk the spam rockets there and going right up the front. We saw a lot of teams doing this earlier in the qualifier, not an approach that a lot of North American teams do. And the European teams actually, or I'm sorry, the North American teams love sitting up on that high ground gate behind the attacker where he's at right now. And that's not been the case for European teams.
Well, you can see the risk involved right now as that defender again gets picked off first. There's not as much risk if you have all 3 up on the high ground. You wait for the attacker to come to you. So it's kind of an interesting decision. Basically, it gives them the best map coverage and spotting, but it really, really exposes that defender.
Okay, just 2 defenders remaining to 3 armors, and of course a very conventional defensive position being taken by our defenders at the moment. Very nice rocket actually stops Wins from being able to make his way up there and forces him to kind of suicide onto the point. Just 1 armor remaining, but the goal is captured. Wins just barely grabbing that.
Wins stayed on just long enough to cap the goal before getting taken out. Sheesh is going to attack now for Eclypsia, so we've got 1 successful attacking round for each team. This is actually a little bit unusual, as we said, more of a defensive map typically, but both teams actually figuring out ways to get around the map's sort of architecture, terrain, to be able to land some attacking rounds. And actually, each time that forward defender off to the right a little bit has been taken out first. We'll see if it's going to happen again. Yep.
And there he is. All right, you called it, and Sheesh will start to bounce his way up now, and we're once again, we found ourselves in this situation a lot, actually. 3 armors to 2 defenders, a defensive position being taken around the point.
Sheesh actually knew that defender was there. I didn't quite realize that Wins was going to be there, so unfortunately for him, he did miss the shot, and now he's in a little bit of a tougher spot. Wow, Wins really exposing himself there a little bit long for Sheesh to try and take a shot at, but now she's switching it up, going to switch around and head to straight to the goal. He almost got it. I think if that rocket had missed, he would have been able to potentially cap that.
Yeah, I think so as well. But as it stands, we're tied up once again with Stormy on the attack now for Colwn. Eclypsia, though, I mean, both teams have not really had a discernible difference in terms of where they've posted up. We'll actually watch the defenders a little more specifically this time. And we have a big difference already as Lekayam going to send off those first spam rockets. Usually, Colwn had been posting up the defender here on top of this high ground, and that's where they had been spamming from.
That's right, but Qualifier going to jump forward a little bit, just trying to catch him in case he did hit that jump pad, and then he just hopped right back over the wall to his normal position. It looks like Sturmey's going to try and take advantage of that right side defender too, but he's going to pay for it from the high ground and the low ground. Only one armor remaining, 3 defenders already looking kind of scary for Sturmey. Of course, it only takes 3 successful lasers to reverse all of this.
And he is going to try and jump around the side and grab that riskier shot, but exposes himself in this little pit, and he pays for it. Qualifier is able to take out his opponent, and once again, Eclypsia was on the first offensive round, so they're usually going to be ahead in terms of that back and forth struggle. So if they can land an attack round right now, it would be really, really helpful for them.
Yep, it's getting to that point where the next successful attacking round is going to be massive for whichever team does manage to get it. Qualifier barely missed that spam rocket there, and he's going to move off to the left side. I don't know if the team realizes he took the low ground approach rather than the high ground. They're still spamming, and I don't believe they've seen him yet. Oh, very nice hiding from that spotter and connecting with the laser. Unfortunately, he did kind of trot into a defensive rocket. Qualifier still at a decent shot to try and take this attack round for Eclypsia. No, now it's actually looking grim.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of 2 open rockets there that were connected. I mean, very good for the defenders there, but a little bit sloppy, I think, from Qualifier. Yeah,
but he's just trying to focus on getting his own shots, not actually juking as effectively as he could. But now we've got that showdown situation. The goal is capable. We got 1 defender left and wins, and Qualifier takes him out, throws up the horn. And Eclypsia is up 4-2.
Sweet horn there, too. And, yeah, they just need to land a couple of defensive rounds, and they are going to be good to go. But AKM is once again back on the attack. We've seen that he's been very strong. It was not AKM and Yeepy that had taken the first attacking rounds, though. It was actually Wins, once again, who stepped up.
All right, AKM trying to find a safe route. Obviously, Qualifier did go back to that spot on the low ground to the right, and you can see his rockets actually coming out once more. AKM trying to get a peek at one of those high ground defenders to try and kill him without too much trouble, but is he going to attempt to hop over? Because when he does that, he exposes his back to Yeepy up on the high ground, so this is actually a little bit tougher. I can see now a little more why these players are setting up the way they do.
He's trying to isolate Qualifier once again, though, and use that as leverage to pick off one of the high ground defenders when they peek their head up, but it's just not working out. Finally manages to pick off Qualifier, but he is still down to just 1 defensive armor.
And time is getting low. The goal is open. He can try to hop up, and he does grab that defensive hit, but unfortunately falls right into that defensive rocket. 5-2 now for Eclypsia. One more defensive round would force a Game 5, but of course Eclypsia could just end it all now with Yeepy and his attacking round.
AKM not happy with the results last time, but he is the one who took the shot, so it's up to him now, and we see already a defensive position that has not been taken so far by Colwn is being utilized here. We'll see if Yeepy can take advantage of that or if he can find a unique way to break it.
They know that if Yeepy does get a successful attack, that it's going to be all over. They will go to a Game 5 in that situation, so they are not going to give him any free looks, but that also means that they cannot spam down rockets at him. They're going to save everything for a last-ditch defense when Yeepy does actually arrive at the goal. He's actually going to move up a little bit before the goal is open to try and give himself some more time to pick off a defender. He knows that AKM is over there, doesn't quite land the laser, and now time is running out.
That's right, and unfortunately 1 armor is already down. Can't pick off a defender in return either, and Yeepy does fall. It's still game point, though, for Eclypsia, and if they can land this next defensive round against Wins, who has proven to be very effective on attack, then they will secure themselves a 2-2 tie going into map number 5.
Essentially, they're just going to want to do what Colwn just did. That's keep all their defenders safe and sound at home, but they're actually not going to opt for that. Instead, they're going to stick to their usual defensive positions. I mean, it has been working okay so far, so don't fix if it isn't broken is the expression. But actually,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Don't fix it if it ain't broke. Wins is going to move forward and not see any of these defenders with his own eyes. He's going to try and peek and steal a kill from Sheesh, but Qualifier with an early defensive rocket puts them in a great position. Now that he's been eliminated, though, it's a little bit more equitable. Wins has a chance if he can land one more laser. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. No, Eclypsia takes the map, and we're forced into a Game 5 now for our finals of the IPL5 EU Qualifier #1. The map choice will go to Colwn.